2 years ago, our investigation revealed that Eastoner, Farnhope and Muchmarcle in the east of Herefordshire were on a Whitehall map, a government map for potential shale gas exploration work. Now it's emerged the government has already carried out environmental studies at Whitchurch and Simmons Yat in the Wye Valley and Llangrove and Welsh Newton on the Herefordshire-Welsh border with a view to issuing licences to fracking firms there. Any decision for the green light looks likely to hinge on a 6-week consultation process. Our reporter Nicola Goodwin is near one of the prospective drilling sites in the Wye Valley this morning. Morning, Nick. So exactly where are you?
Welcome to Simmons Yat. Now, if I just turn and look, what we have got is the jewel in the crown of Herefordshire's tourism industry, of course, the River Wye, Elliot, and the mist is just being burnt off. We can see blue skies and the sun beyond it. Now, it's really busy down here. We've got a campsite, we've got a maze, a butterfly park, numerous B&Bs and hotels. And tourism is actually in the top 3 industries in Herefordshire, along with food and farming. It's what brings a lot of money into the county, but could this soon be the site for fracking? And that's the process of drilling and creating tiny explosions to shatter and crack hard shale rocks to release the gas inside. The aim overall, of course, is to boost worldwide gas supplies. Now, recently in a case in Lancashire, a legal advisor told the County Council that any attempt to block fracking on environmental grounds would be unreasonable and costly. But the victory by locals opposed to it along the Fylde coast was described by Greenpeace UK as a Waterloo for the fracking industry and a triumph for local democracy. So could we see the same thing happening in Herefordshire? John Perkins is from the Ban Fracking in Herefordshire campaign. John, what are your concerns about fracking here in this AONB, Area of Outstanding Natural Beauty?
Well, Elliot listed them just before we came on air, really, because it's the environmental damage that does most harm to the area, especially as it's a tourism area. Who wants to come and see a load of fracking wells sticking up out of the ground in an area that's really beautiful? And we've just been admiring the mist coming off the River Wye this morning, and it's just so beautiful. It just should not happen.
Is it just that you don't want it here, though? I mean, the Environment Secretary has actually drawn up regulations already saying in areas like this, they're known as AONBs, fracking won't be any deeper than 1,000 metres. So he seems to have already answered that question.
Not really, because the other concerns, of course, are side effects, earthquakes, damage to the water aquifer, and of course we already have issues with water aquifers in Hereford because you've got so many companies drawing water from the Wye and from the aquifer. In the summer, we can barely sort of get enough water for the people who live in Hereford, let alone these additional strains, and they use millions of gallons of water for fracking.
John, it's Elliot back in the studio. Good morning. I mean, it's a fact, isn't it? And I think everyone kind of recognises this, that we do need to secure our energy supply, and this seems like a fairly secure way of doing it. I mean, it's got to be welcomed in some way, hasn't it?
Rather than being against things, I'd actually like to sort of try and be on the positive side and say what we should be doing. And what we should be doing is just what the government have not done, and they've just pulled the rug under the carpet of people with solar energy, wind power and various other things. And if I can just highlight one thing with the wind power, you don't now have to have those huge wind turbines that people don't like. There's a company in Reading have produced some smaller ones which are caged so they don't kill birds, and they're several times more efficient than the big ones that people complain about.
I mean, this is going to bring jobs in, though, isn't it, as well? This is another thing. I mean, we need, as well as energy, we need jobs, and this would be a boost for the local economy.
Actually, that's a fallacy, because as soon as they've got what they want out of the ground, the people go. So it's only temporary jobs at best. And actually, they don't use that many people on a fracking site.
So what's next for the campaign then, John? I mean, there's a 6-week government consultation process. What are you planning next?
I would ask whether the government actually, or our local council, understand the word consultation, because having looked at some of the consultation papers, they usually ask the wrong questions designed to get the answers they want rather than what people want. So there's always a problem with consultations. I've only quickly glanced at this one yet, so I can't really sort of comment on this one. I will have a closer look later in the day after a lot of recording sessions, but the consultation for the libraries, for instance, is a joke.
OK,
Sick
John,
joke.
thanks for talking to us this morning. There's John Perkins from the Ban Fracking in Herefordshire campaign. We'll be back with our reporter Nicola Goodwin at Simmons Yacht after 8 this morning with Andrew Blake from the Wye Valley Area of Outstanding Natural Beauty Group. And we'll also hear more about the whole science of fracking and its potential dangers and benefits as well. I'd love your thoughts on this. How would you feel about fracking in your neck of the woods? Because potentially this could happen. In America, it's completely changed the energy industry over there. They have much cheaper power than we do. So would you welcome it over here, or is it just too many unknowns and too risky? Your thoughts, please. 0345 300 8181. Right, let's go and find out more from our reporter Nicola Goodwin. Nicola is near one of the prospective drilling sites in the Wye Valley this morning. Nick, where exactly are you then?
Welcome to Simmons Yacht, Elliot. Now, a little bit of history for you. Not just tourism now, but tourism in the past has always chosen this site because Nelson came here a long time ago. But why did he come here? He came here because we are in a beautiful spot with the Wye Valley winding its way through the Forest of Dean on the one side of the river and the Herefordshire Welsh borders on the other. It's also a huge, huge part of the local economy, tourism. We have people coming here to canoe, we have people coming here to eat and drink, and of course people coming here to climb the rocks, and it's the rocks that mean that this site is a potential one for fracking. We heard Carson's description of what it is just then, and what people may have heard a few months ago in terms of the Lancashire case, the one that filed, was that was described by Greenpeace as a Waterloo for the fracking industry and a triumph for local democracy when the plans to frack there were overturned. Could the same thing happen in Herefordshire, though? We've yet to see. With me is Andrew Blake from the Wye Valley Area of Outstanding Natural Beauty Group. They're the people that look after this very unique place. Your reaction, Andrew, to these plans, I'm assuming that you're not for them.
Well, the government actually announced that there would be no fracking in areas of outstanding natural beauty or national parks. That is down to a level of 1,200 metres. So we're assuming that means no wellheads in the AONB either, but they would be able to frack from elsewhere, sort of traverse underneath to the AONB. So as far as I understand from the legislation, that the AONB remains protected as it is in so many other ways.
But as you just explained there, somebody could essentially go onto a field just outside the border for the AONB, put up a wellhead and essentially dig as far as they wanted underground into the area itself.
Yes, possibly. I mean, there are other protections. The current consultation on the habitats regulations assessment puts a buffer around the river, anywhere that connected to the river, so streams and tributaries. I think there's about a 200-metre buffer to protect otter sites. And also in the Forest of Dean we've got the Greater and Lesser Horseshoe bat roosts. That's another European protected site. And again, that they're protected, and fracking within proximity to those would need to be, go through even more rigorous attention.
Andrew, good morning.
We're very lucky we've got...
Andrew, it's Elliot back in the studio.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you there.
Hi, No, that's fine.
Just talk about the tourism for a moment, because obviously, as Nicola was saying in her introduction, I mean, Simmons Yacht, utterly beautiful place, massive sort of tourist
Absolutely.
draw. I mean, if there was fracking, if there was any potential fracking activity going on there, I mean, do you think it would affect tourism?
I mean, like I said, within the area of outstanding natural beauty, I don't think we're going to see wellheads despoiling the view. If they're in the adjacent areas and farmland, it will really depend on the impacts of the vehicle movements, how many lorries are going in and out, and the noise from the drilling, that sort of thing. Those would be the impacts that I think would might put people off. But it will all depend on how close it is, the proximity, and that will come through in the planning process as exactly where the drills, the wellheads might be located.
Yeah, and what's your organisation doing then? Are you seeking assurances from government about this, that the countryside won't be blighted?
Yes, like I said, there is legislation protecting the areas of outstanding natural beauty and national parks, and so we will be ensuring that is upheld. We'll be commenting as well on certain aspects of the current consultation on the habitats regulations. So, and yes, keeping a very close eye and helping Herefordshire Council through the planning process as well, when the applications come in.
OK, Andrew, thank you ever so much for having a chat with us this morning. Andrew Blake there from the Wye Valley area of outstanding natural beauty, and Nicola Goodwin, our reporter out at it is outstanding and beautiful Simmons Yacht this morning. Lots of you have been commenting on this morning. It's going particularly well on Facebook, this. Love your thoughts on this, on fracking, because it has completely revolutionised the energy industry in the States. I mean, it's basically half the price of energy over there, and we're always moaning about how much energy costs in this country. I mean, I'd be personally quite happy with 50% off, but I suppose it comes at a cost. So, is fracking a cost worth paying? Sue on Facebook says no to fracking absolutely anywhere. Stefan says most definitely no fracking anywhere in the UK ever. You made yourself pretty clear there, Stefan. Scott says government profit over people, prepared to put the land we live on at risk. Now ask yourself who the real enemy is, says Scott. Anthony says the chances of areas of outstanding natural beauty being ruined are slim, yet they've named the most picturesque areas. And another one here from Diane says fossil fuels, which include oil from any source, needs to stay in the ground. 97% of scientists agree. We have man-made climate change. We need to drastically reduce our CO2 emissions to stop global temperatures rising, leading to further catastrophic weather events. We're already seeing the effects of climate change here and in many poorer countries. No to fracking. Yes to renewables, says Diane. So love your thoughts on that. Keep them coming in on Facebook, or you can text 81333. Start your messages with the letters HW.